We all know about big things that make a narcissist panic, that leave them in a very anxious state. Things like abandoning them, exposing them, saying no to them, having boundaries with them, or not giving them attention. But what if I told you there are trivial things, small things that send big shocks down their spine, that leave them jeopardized, things that make their life miserable on a daily basis? Don't believe me? Let me prove it to you in this episode. I am Danish, a psychologist, a trauma therapist, and a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. The topic for today's episode is 5 trivial things that shock a narcissist to his or her core. Number one, when things do not go their way. I'm not talking about when you say no to them. I'm not talking about when you set boundaries with them either. I'm talking about things that happen on a daily basis and that are beyond their control. For example, when they have to wait in a line and be patient, when they cannot be the first one to be taken care of, the first one to be attended to, the first one to be put on a pedestal, they panic. They feel really anxious. Why? Well, they are entitled. Their entitlement informs them that they should come first. Everybody follows because they are less in value and worth in comparison to the narcissist. So the narcissist should be the one to be taken care of. That's how and why they think that way. But because in real world, things do not function according to the narcissist model of it, they are forced to wait, to be patient, to stand in that queue, wait for their number. And that is what makes their anxiety manifest as rage, which they take out on either the person in charge or those who accompany them. Narcissists have a very delusional expectation from the world at large. They want everybody to acknowledge their greatness, how amazing they are in comparison to the rest. They want everybody to kneel before them. They want everybody to turn themselves into doormats and let the narcissist walk over them. Let me give you another example for this. You are a air host or air hostess on a flight that a narcissist is supposed to be on. The narcissist walks in, grandiose narcissist, and you're tired from your day. You smile at them, you greet them, but there's a little bit of energy that's missing. You're low. It's fine. It's understandable. It doesn't matter. It's a very insignificant thing that most people will ignore, but you have given this narcissist a big injury. And guess what? The next thing you find after that flight is they have complained about you to the authority. The reason? Oh, I was not welcomed with a smile. I felt so disrespected, and so on. That is their expectation. They're extremely insecure. They depend on other people's validation. It is blood for the parasite. They want that attention because they constantly keep hiding their insecurities. They are deeply ashamed of who they are. They hate themselves. They need the validation so that they can remain distant from their reality. But whenever they feel they haven't gotten it much or the way they deserve to get it, they feel anxious. That anxiety never comes up as anxiety. It always gets converted into anger and rage. Number two, this one is really big. When they are expected to give unconditionally, that is what irks them. This is my personal experience with my narcissistic father as well as narcissistic mother. The only difference is with my covert narcissistic mother, I didn't realize it in the beginning. I realized it later on. And every time she pulled out that list and counted the things that she had done for me, bought for me, and changed for me, and so on. See, when you choose to become a parent, you unconsciously, without saying, accept the responsibilities that come with having a child. Every healthy parent would agree with that. But when a narcissistic parent has a child, it is seen as a liability, especially in terms of the expenses. When this narcissistic parent is expected to, or is, let's say, forced to spend money on their child, on their food, on their clothes, on their education, on medical stuff, they see it as a liability. They hate it. They curse the child. They curse their life. And they make such a clownish face. What kind of impact does that have on the child? Well, they feel like crap. This is my life story. My father would occasionally spend some money on my health, but whenever he would really make bad faces and make you feel you are a burden. It really irks them when they have to make things happen, move things unconditionally. There always has to be a transaction happening. It is never unconditional. If they are giving you something, you have to give something back in return. I once asked my father, don't you feel bad about spending all this money on my education? Because I always felt I was undeserving of that money, or why? All because of his treatment. Listen to this. He said, don't you worry about that. It's an investment. It's like you're giving somebody a loan. Tomorrow, you're going to get it back, and that too with interest. And there was a smirk, a smile on his face. I still, to this day, remember the confusion, because back then I couldn't understand what he meant and why would he say something like that. But today I understand the reason. The reason was he saw it as an investment. He was not doing it because he was supposed to. He was doing it because it was an investment and he would get all of it back, plus the money he could extract from me. The proof of which lies in the curse. He cursed me in my last fight with him, that may you remain alive, but always live like a beggar. And he cursed the money that he had spent on me. With my mother, she would count all the things she had done for me. If I were to go against her words or do something that would expose her, or if I were to try to hold her accountable or ask, why did you say or do that? To guilt trip me and instantly get control back, she would pull out a list and read the items. I did this, I bought you this, I did that, and it would go on and on forever. Number 3, when they see someone more accomplished than them. See, narcissists are beams of jealousy and envy. It's normal to feel jealousy. It's okay, it's human emotion. But if you let that jealousy turn into animosity, and out of that animosity, you go around slander, tell lies, smear campaign, then you're the worst human being ever. Which most non-narcissistic folks do not do, but when it comes to narcissists, they don't digest it well. They don't appreciate it. They do not rise above their emotions and wonder out of curiosity, what is it here for me to learn? What can I adapt? How can I change myself to become as successful as them? How can I be inspired? No. They either blame the successful person for having stolen things from others, or label it off as a matter of sheer luck. That's it. They will never acknowledge it. They have to put them down to rise above, to feel better. Oh, come on. Yeah, he is successful, she is successful, but it's not as good as, and then there would be somebody else in comparison. That is when they get really anxious. They feel really small. That shame comes up. And when that happens, you will see their face color changing, the tone of their body changing, the way they are carrying themselves clearly shows how jealous, how petty and pathetic these human beings are. Number 4, when you ask them to take some action about their problems. See, covert vulnerable narcissists in particular have a habit of complaining about their life. They can fake crying. They'll tell you all the stories about their abusive partner, their abusive kids, and their miserable life. But when it comes to changing it, when it comes to you offering them solutions, like here are the steps, do this, do that, they won't follow up, they won't follow through. And they will feel really irked because they expected you to become a part of their shared fantasy. They expected you to play a role in their ever suffering life. They expected you to say, oh, you, poor you, there can be nothing done about you, and let them rejoice in that suffering. They expected you to step in and be their ultimate savior. But because you chose to say, okay, I recognize the problem, let's do something about it. Why suffer when there is an option? That is when you turn into an enemy. An example of this would be a covert narcissist working with a solution-oriented, solution-focused therapist or coach. The therapist goes, okay, I understand this has been a problem in your life. What can we do about it? Here are some suggestions. Here are some steps that you can take. Oh, the most horrible therapist I have ever been to. This coach is BS. No credentials whatsoever. Doesn't know what they're talking about. I will never ever listen to them because they challenged you in a compassionate way. They asked you to step in and take control back in your hands. That is what they do. When their current state of false self is not acknowledged the way they want it to be acknowledged, they become really panicky. They become really anxious because they feel exposed and they feel pressured to change their situation, which to them means total loss of supply. Number 5, when you get help from others. In a narcissistic parasitic relationship, you are expected to play the role of a host and solely depend on the narcissist for your survival, when the reality is the opposite. They depend on you. But to have control and to make it seem like they are better than you, they want you to believe you need them. When you step outside of the relationship to seek help, you become the enemy, the cruel one. They become really jealous of you. 2 reasons. 1, they believe they deserve to get all the attention from everybody who is giving you attention. 2, they are getting exposed. People are telling you, you need to wake up. This relationship is killing you and you need to leave it. Both work against them. That means dependency is gone, which ultimately means power destroyed, control lifted. All members of my narcissistic family hated my team, the people who I work with, who helped me to put everything together. They wanted me to suffer in isolation, feel overwhelmed, and go running back to them, crying to mommy, I don't know how to deal with the world, so that she gets to keep me infantilized and uses me the way she wanted to. That's what they want. They want you to solely depend on them for their survival, not yours. That's how crazy and reversed everything is. That was number 5. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. If you liked this episode, let me know in the comments. And also make sure to check out my Heal After Surviving a Narcissistic Parent program, in which I help you learn how you get traumatized at a developmental level and how that trauma shows up in your childhood and what to do about it, how to become whole in 5 practical steps. The link is in the description of this episode. Other than that, I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.